So I'm a business analyst. Started with a data analyst. So I'll talk about data, talk about the back end of what fuels, the initiatives and actions and outcomes which we drive as CMOs. It made my life easier when, Mr. Albright got up here and said that the CMO role is now of a chief business officer. So we need to drive clear outcomes. We need to be faster to the market. And my cost to acquire customer has to continuously come down, right? And when we have to do that, how do we go about doing it? What is it that, sorry, this one. Yeah, sorry, thank you. So when we are trying to do all of this, where does data come in? And what are the complexities around it? How can we handle it more efficiently? And then, I'll be doing injustice if I don't talk about the AI aura which is going around, right? And how that is changing how we interact, not just with data, but the overall tech landscape, and how we actually are that much more closer to actually putting in a requisition where we say, okay, these many employees and these many agents, and that's the budget which we'll table eventually. So we'll talk some bit of that also. So we did a quick survey, and we realized that today as entities, we are dealing with diverse data sources. We have, roughly around 30 internal, 32 external data sources which come into us. We're trying to make sense of it. And let's take an example. Every day we get up to, change in tariff which is happening. The change in tariff, how it's impacting certain product categories. And when it's impacting those product categories, how does it enable me or disable me, right? And that whole scenario, you start by saying that, okay, what is the trade which is happening? And your external data source is DGFT or Comtrade. That's one ecosystem, which is an outside in. You're saying, okay, for this product category, is it sizable? That's where the data analysis comes in. Once you understand that it's sizable, then you're saying, okay, do my company and my brands have the strength to absorb this? That's where my strength of my brand, my pricing power, comes in. What is my relationship with my end customer? Then the pricing information, what is my bargaining power? These are the unstructured elements which come in. And then I'm saying, okay, fine. If this is all true, then what is my exposure levels? So I get into my internal CRM, I pull out, okay, what is my concentration? How will it impact me if, say, I increase prices or if I absorb this? And then I get into my supplier ecosystem and understand that what is it that my supplier ecosystem is dependent on, how will it impact them, right? So multiple data sources, and the context can change. Sometimes it's about getting the right segmentation in, and we're saying that I've been using traditional metrics, the structured data structures, revenue, employee base, but then now it's about intelligence. Who is speaking about me? Is it positive or negative? And how can I actually bring that unstructured data in a structured manner and make it part of my intelligence, my ecosystem to communicate and tell my story or build interest in my products? So I think diverse data sources is a challenge, and my revenue growth is directly tied to how I manage this data. How does it manifest? So the ecosystem changes. Suddenly data privacy is critical. If I'm a multinational organization, if I'm serving the European customers, I need to take care of GDPR. If I'm in the India market, I have to say, okay, the rules will eventually get notified. How does the Indian data privacy or the localization impacts how I store data, how I interact with that? So that's one key challenge which we're looking at. We're looking at if we don't manage the data properly, the implication is the privacy impacts which we may have, the compliance issues. Sometimes it's about getting the product out. We are launching new products on a continuous basis. if the information is not sitting right, then it's always about, okay, let's wait, let's just get this right. So the delay, many times it's about missed opportunities, because so when I was talking about tariffs, the opportunities now, if I don't act now in the next 10 days, maybe that opportunity doesn't exist, right? So sometimes about the timing, and then how the entire scenario is evolving, right? Even though we have data, we have tech stacks, and we are continuously evolving, but there is this outside element which comes in. Now it's in the form of AI. First we were looking at generative AI, now we're looking at RAG-based systems. We're talking about agentic AI, and then this narration is evolving. And this is impacting how we as business are acquiring customers and communicating with customers, right? So what do we need to do? I think integrate, that is our core problem. How can I bring all of these disparate sources to that single entity which it belongs to? So integration is the first challenge we face on a continuous basis. Once I've got all of this together, then how do I segment them? I have different lenses, right? We all talk about the single point of truth, but the fact of the matter is that I need diversity, because when I'm a marketeer, I need to understand different contexts, different storylines, because that's what builds the narrative for my product, which addresses a diverse need spectrum. So segmentation is important. Once I've done the segmentation, and I've managed to do that, then I'm saying, okay, but I cannot go after everyone. Which are the top 10, which are the top 20, which are the top 100, 500 elements which I need to focus on. It could be communication themes, it could be cohorts, it could be customer segments, and within them, the entities which we are going after. And then, once I've prioritized that, how do I engage? What is the best mode to engage? Is it online? Is it physical? Is it email? Is it this event? How do we, and what's the most effective? I think this is the journey, and then we get that feedback, and, and there should not be an inertia which sets in. So this is what we have. This is what we are actually currently engaging with, striving to actually drive efficiency if we can master all of these. And this doesn't become easier, because when you look at the whole revenue stack, which is changing, and that is ever evolving, it's complex, and that complexity means that as marketing and sales leaders, we need to understand and appreciate tech, because that's very real. That's part of our lives. So we are talking about a customer data platform which brings all the data elements together. We're talking about an ABM platform which can drive synergies in my digital marketing. And there are different choices. At each of these stages, there are different choices. We're talking about, then sales intelligence platform and your activation platforms which are driving digital marketing to bring that feedback loop. And this whole ecosystem, you're making choices. You're saying, what do I integrate? What data I acquire? How do I process it? What activations I do? And this is where the long-term, process is becoming more complex and intensive. So essentially, we are balancing. We are balancing teams, tools, and data. These are the three things we are balancing. And sometimes we lead with one, could lead with teams. Sometimes we lead with tools. And more or less, it's about how do we get the balance right, and this is one key piece which we need to understand, because once we understand it, then only we can integrate it into what we do and how we do it. So what are the three core steps? I think, and I'm not talking about the choice of technology, because that is real. You need to make choices. At the same time, you will have legacy systems, you will have new age systems, you will have agile startups who will be approaching you. You need to have that ability to decide what tech stack is right for you, what is scalable. But once you've made that choice, then these are the three core steps. I need to clean and unify, my data sets. I need to not just look at internal but external data sets. All of that has to come together. So for example, when I analyze market opportunities, do I acquire new company data? Should I acquire data systems and tools which helps us process those data? So for example, we are making choices as a company, when we are saying that today customer intelligence is the key driver. When I'm talking about customer intelligence, I need to know spend propensity. When I know spend propensity, I only know that this is high potential. But after that, I need to know, are they looking out? Are they seeking solutions? Once I know they are seeking solutions, that is also not the end of it, because decision making is complex. Then I need to know that which are the cohorts which are involved, who has the budget, who's the decision maker, how does the decisioning process works, so then that's the third piece, you know. And then the last piece is that, okay, in all of this, once I understand that this is how it works, what is the right messaging, and at what time. All of this is only possible when I do first, when I actually understand that this is how that data set which is already available stands up and stacks. So this is the intelligence part, which helps you with the relevance part, because I need to target them at the right moment, right time. I cannot know the right moment, right time without having the right data sets. And more importantly, analyzing it and making it available downstream, to our teams. And the third one is, how do I prospect smarter? White spaces, sales planning as a function, for example. We say that I am 30% market share or I'm at 70% market share. What exactly is white space for me? And sometimes that white space may not be addressable at all, and those elements are very important, and I think we need to enable ourselves to understand not just the descriptive part, but also have a data structure available which could help us predict. And this is where your churn models, your cross-sell, upsell models, what has worked, what has not worked. We need to have an ability to capture all of this, and make it available on tap. So this is, how the go-to-market teams can function cohesively. And all of this is something which, as a company, we are doing and we are supporting. So we have the tech stack, we have the data, we have the ability to do all of this. And we are running multiple use cases for different clients. So this is how it looks eventually. If you look at the bottom, there is the choice you make. You say that, okay, what is my identifier? How do I identify the consumer, the customer in my ecosystem? That choice could be a GST number, could be a PAN number, could be a customer ID, could be a third-party identifier. So that's the first choice you're making. Then my ability to run multiple integrations, right? So if I'm looking at intent data, if I'm looking at CRM data, if I'm looking at ERP data, then my tech stack has to have the ability to integrate all of this, disparate data sets. And then I'm saying that my data management solution, which brings all of this together. Why? Because I need to target, and when I'm targeting with better data, I can activate campaigns which are with deeper insights, and I can engage with automation, right? So your data management solution, your sales intelligence solutions, and your digital marketing solutions have to work cohesively, right? And that's the journey, that's the holistic picture, that's the long-term ability to bring down your cost of acquisition, to improve your conversions, to actually very clearly understand that what my consumer is thinking. And if he's thinking that this is the behavior, this is the change which is happening, then how can I adapt? And that's the process which we need to build, and that's the ecosystem you need to evolve to. And again, now coming back to, the part which is becoming more complex now. So these are all systems which have an inbuilt ability to cohesively function. But today, the inbound use of agentic AI is expected in the 12 to 18 months will change and transform how we look at processes, right? And very simply, if you look at the Gen AI, it is saying that I need to create a creative brief, and can you refer for this problem statement multiple briefs which have been created and come up with a cohesive storyline, right? So that generation function is what a Gen AI is doing. When you look at the agentic AI, largely it's saying, okay, I'm running processes, I need to retrieve data from multiple systems, bring it together, augment it, and run a process, right? So very simply, then we are saying that my new hires for business intelligence could be agents. The agents will work with employees with tenure and subject matter expert in your company to learn. And then that capacity will be available to you 24/7, right? And that's how the ecosystem will evolve. So when we look at sales automation, marketing automation, outbound calling, anything which is being done using multiple ecosystems, bringing it together, and then outbound outreach to the customers, that process will change, right? And which means that what I'm talking now in 12 to 18 months may become irrelevant, or the context may change, and our ability to be ahead of that is very important. Today we are talking about using flow data, real-time data to process and direct campaigns, and that ability can only happen when I have a model which is having the ability to understand and react, and we can actually, evolve to that scenario. So that's the other part. So largely, if I need to quickly summarize, saying that the data challenge is real, you need to work out an ecosystem which helps you consolidate data. We are right there, which is in technical terms is what you say is the data management puzzle using structured, unstructured data. The second, once you've consolidated data, it doesn't help. You need to bring context to it. So then the segmentation, prioritization, that is critical. You may be using a CDP platform, but if you don't have the right data, that means you don't get the sharper cohorts done. And the third is the activation, and I completely agree. Digital is not at an isolation. We need to run physical and digital together, which means that when the dealer is selling something, I need to have the ability to capture who that customer is, why he came, and what was the nature of purchase he made. While at the same time, when my enterprise sales team is selling, I need to capture that information also, right? And bring it together and then have the ability to scale. So I think data management challenge, consolidation, segmentation, and having that response feedback going, and the last point is about seeing that, okay, what all agents can I deploy? How can I bring down the cost? How can I build in synergy integration? And how can I, spending the same dollar, enable more? I think that's what the future looks like. And yes, yeah, absolutely. So I think these were the key points which I wanted to make. Yeah? Thank you.